Oh, boys and girls. I hope we're recording because I did hit the record button. Let me double check real quick because
Yeah, you're recording.
I only got one brain cell. Okay. So you just got to roll with the punches when you come on STP, my friend. This is STP, Stir in the Pot with Don Kincaid, an hour. Very special guest. Now, check this out, boys and girls. This is a little bit something different. Not a wrestler, not a manager, not a referee, not a ring announcer, not a commentator, not a bell ringer, not a timekeeper. We have right here a New England staple, photographer, videographer, squash it all together, and we call him Multimedia Dave. Welcome to the show, my friend.
Thank you for having me, Mr. Don Kincaid. How are you this evening?
We are good. We are out of work, and we leave that shit behind, and we have some fun with our favorite talent on STP that we see at the local shows and the venues and such. But this is a little bit different. And I've wanted this for a hot minute, as the kids would say. But you know what? Someone's schedule is beyond fucking crazy. That would be one Multimedia Dave. So
Yes.
I got to sit, chit chat, side by side, mano y mano, and we just kind of jawed a little bit pre-show to one of the TOS road shows, and we had some fun, and
Yes,
we kind of connected here. And this has been, for myself personally, this has been long awaited. So I appreciate your time
no
talking
problem.
to
Thank
us,
you.
the fans, because we are going to get a different view, if you will, through the lens, if you will, instead of a fan or a wrestler or a talent or whatever the case may be. This is just a little bit different. Now, I don't write nothing down, but my one brain cell got a couple things already been ticking away. So I know there's probably a history of Multimedia Dave getting into photography. Screw all of
Yes.
that. We just kind of roller coaster the timeline. Just take the ride with me, my friend, okay?
Yep.
Uh,
Yep. Yep.
I want to know right off the ripper, and this is, as they say, with all due respect.
Okay.
Uh, Why wrestling? Out of everything in the universe, that you have a choice to take your beautiful eye and your beautiful camera and have some fun. Why wrestling? Please indulge us.
So when I was in high school, I started watching wrestling, and it wasn't until after I got out of high school till I heard a thing called independent professional wrestling that was legit 3 to 5 minutes from my house. So I went to a show, realized that wrestling, wrestling. Um, it was Spike Dudley who was around Top Rope Promotions, and I started going to their shows for 2004 to 2005, 2006.
Nice.
2007 rolled along the summer, and I decided, you know what? Let me see if I can try to get into it. Beside, I want to try to train, get into it, or get into it in general. So I went to a couple trainings, not for me at the time. Then I was like, you know what? Let me get into it picture wise. Got myself a
Okay.
small little cheap little camera. Did the festival shows for Top Rope back down then. Did a couple smaller shows. 2007. Call it a 2007. 2008 exploded my portfolio to one, two, three, maybe seven promotions at the time. 2009.
Wow.
Just 2009 is when the real breakout year started with my home promotion started with ACW, Alliance Championship Wrestling, who is now no longer running. But after I came back did the one-off of Ring of Honor in 2009, that's where the Picture Dave moniker actually came from, where the whole locker room pretty much adopted me as the Picture Dave guy. Basically, they thought I was just going to be a one-done, this guy takes pictures, who cares? Come back from Ring of Honor, made it as a big thing. Wow, he's done Ring of Honor. Nobody really did Ring of Honor locally. But it was just one of those things. I do thank Bobby Cruz for getting me that one night only. And the special thing about that one night, Don, it was Daniel Bryan's second to last night in Ring of Honor before he went to the WWE.
Wow. Wow. Quite the history in ROH
Quite.
that he had.
Yes. And that match that he worked was with the American Wolf, Dave Richards, which is one of my favorite matches that I've shot in my 17 years.
Excellent. You've just with that, with what you gave us for a timeline there, you seem to already doing the drives and like the talents would, and
Yes.
you're getting there wicked early, and you're seeing the setup vibe, and you may be taking pictures pre-show to check that vibe out or what have you, and then through the show and such. So at that point, you've already been around through quite many of local promotions,
Yes.
you know.
At that point, maybe 6 or 7 different promotions through September of 2009. But pretty much right after that is when everything just went from open the door wide open.
So how is this? How is Picture Dave at that time getting this kind of steam? Is it promoters or wrestlers reaching out to you and being like, "Dude, you got to come out to our promotion, or you got to come out to X place," or is it Picture Dave being like, "Hey, I do this, I do that. What do you guys think? Can I hang out? And what's good?"
It's a little bit of all three, but it was more of like the promoters kind of reaching out and me just kind of reaching back and be like, hey, this and that. I do pictures, do promo shots, I do this,
Okay.
whatever, blah blah blah. But it was mainly we were all on MySpace and it before the Facebook, but my but MySpace was definitely the way to go. 2009, 2010. Um, but it was interesting social media connection back then. But just
All
like
right.
a lot of friends just wanting me here, wanting me there, and then 2010, 2011 is when it was a lot harder because I was working in retail. So Friday, Saturdays, I had to pick my choice and be like, all right, well, what's the stronger of the show? And then 2012 rolled around where I told the boss, I said, hey, listen, I've been here at this job for 8, 9 years now. Um, I'm gonna have to give you the choice because now I'm starting to get more out there, and I'm telling you, I'm no longer going to be working Friday nights or Saturday nights. So, hey, but I'm putting the ball in your court now.
Right. That's kind of we not exactly the same, but we have a similar tale because I was doing music with the owner of where I work. He was a drummer. I was a guitar player, but I was also the sound guy, the PA setup guy, the web guy, the contact for the manager and the owners of the establishment guy, and I wore many a hat in the band. So leaving at 8 o'clock when we go on at 9 is not a good thing. Uh,
No.
so so I kind of I've been here for a minute or so. Can I please just have my weekends to myself? I know it's busier, and I get that, and I could probably make some decent ching doing the pizza gig and everything, but I really need to concentrate on this baby of mine called High Octane, the name of the band. So I really needed to kind of pull away from that. So we have a similar tale, just, not exactly the same, but sometimes you just got to do what you got to do for
True.
something. And it's not like you're losing money. You're just kind of changing the schedule around a little bit because I
I
can take Wednesday nights and make it, a little bit different, or Thursday
Yep.
nights and add on to it. So it's not like I'm losing money out of my livelihood to go play guitar and maybe make, $100. But that $100 that I make, how much money did we put into the equipment, the
Yep.
traveling, and,
All the
and
all the
so
little things that go along with it.
yes, which coincides with being a successful singles wrestler. How much money do you really put into it before you actually start getting those envelopes? And sometimes, Dave, yourself and I, we know those envelopes aren't the biggest paydays.
Hey, before I cut you off,
Please.
I think you'll appreciate this, and this is actually a shout out to somebody that we both know.
Okay.
Kaiju. She just when I worked for her, she decided to put me over on the envelope.
Oh, look at
So
her.
and
Mama
I
Kaiju.
and the thing is, I actually keep this because you know what? This is actually someone that actually cares about their product, cares about their talent, and actually cares about things. So I keep this envelope to know that you know what, cared about.
That's amazing. She is going to absolutely love that. I'm going to have to clip that and send it to her. She's going to be like, "Oh my god, multimedia thing made me cry."
And the funny thing is, 2 days after the show, I messaged her and I told her about that, and she's like, "You're the first person that mentioned me, or mentioned that I wrote that on there." I said, "All right, if somebody pays attention, like."
Yeah, but if you feel that appreciation, Dave, it's always going to be reciprocated, my
Yes.
man. You know what I'm saying?
Yep.
I felt that myself doing the promos and, hey, can you drive out here? And I know it's not too far away from you, but I'm asking to kind of take you away from your time with your family. But I'd really like to do something fun, and we can make it a promo to tell the story that we're building. I'm like, fuck yeah, I
Oh,
don't mind that
absolutely.
at all. Let's do something, you know?
Absolutely.
So I always feel that appreciation, and it's reciprocated. And when it is reciprocated, my friend, just like you're doing, it's a memento that will always be. That's part of your wrestling memorabilia right there.
Oh,
You know.
absolutely. Absolutely.
um, Now we've talked only a few promotions here. Now I know ROH really stands out as something special because
Yes.
of what it once was, if you will, because I know it still is, but it's not what it was.
It is, but it is.
um, Now I'm wearing, and I was gonna wait a little bit till we jumped into XWA, but I'm just gonna
No,
go and
that's
jump in
great. You
right
know
now
something? That is great. I love how you just made that transition.
because when I started going to XWA, I lived 2 hours away in Bristol, Connecticut. And I started going on a whim with my dad. And I was like, hey, let's go check this place out. Because I was doing some drives. I was going to a bunch of shows and I was doing a little bit of something. I started with the clips and started transitioning into something, you know? So about December 2018, if I'm not mistaken, we went out to the double cage where it was the Minutemen versus this is going to be a throwback. Adrenaline Rush with one Keith Youngblood and Dangerous Daniel Evans. Not that Minutemen aren't a throwback by any stretch.
Well, they still are a throwback.
Yes, still are. And they are out there respectively in their singles careers still, oddly enough.
No, actually, Devin is actually retired, and
he pulled back.
Tone is actually in Wisconsin, killing it on the deathmatch.
Dude, I follow him, and the dad, that dude's got screwed loose.
Yes.
So that was our introduction to XWA. Now I went there wicked early because that's what I kind of like to do. And we went in there way, way, way early. There was no fans. There was no. This is really before they started gaining a lot of steam. So there wasn't a lot of.
Was this the era of the Thursday shows around that area?
It was, yes.
Okay.
Yes.
All right.
It was. And we get there, and I get to the door. I open it up, and it's raining like a son of a bitch out there. So I go back to the door because I told Dad I'm just going to be a scout and check out the scene and see what's good. So I went back. I grabbed Papa Kincaid. We run through the pouring rain. We get to the door. I close the door. We stand there into a completely empty arena, except for one person. There was Nick Delta before he was Nick Delta. And he was just chilling at the wall. Now, I want to say it was completely empty except, now I'm going to mention some names because maybe some names in the past may hit some nerves. And I know I don't control of what they've done and their past. So I'm just going to start, I just going to blow out a couple names here.
All right.
I got the privy, me and my Papa Kincaid, leaning against the wall because we were so wicked early. There was one Christian Casanova at the time.
Carmelo Hayes.
Working out a match with one Rude Boy Riley. Now, I'm watching this go down, and me as a fan, traveling 2 hours and getting to see these two guys break down what they're about to do. I'm just like watching and watching. I just had blinders on. I really did. And I'll never, ever forget that. And my introduction to Nick Delta, previous Nick Delta, Popcorn Delta, I like to call him. Shh, that's a secret. But sitting there and watching all of this.
Nick Delta.
And one Jose Perez, he comes up and he goes, "Can I help you?" I go, "Yeah, Donkey Kate. I'm here with my dad. We're here for the show and stuff." He goes, "Donkey Kate." He goes, "We haven't met face to face. We have on Facebook and stuff." That's how I knew of XWA, was because of Jose going live at some show that he was at. And then I followed him and we started DMing and stuff. And he said, "You should come check it out. I think you really like the place." So I did. And he goes, "No shit, glad to meet you face to face, blah, blah, blah." He goes, "But you're here way too early. You should be like outside." And I'm like, "Oh, shit. Okay, my bad." He goes, "But you know what? It's raining outside. It's like really raining out. Why don't you just hang inside and don't worry about it? Just kind of pick your seat, sit wherever you want." So we had an open arena and we sat where we want, front row. So we picked a couple seats and we checked out. Even another couple guys came out. They did their thing pre-show. And then the doors open and such. But that was my introduction to XWA, was watching that breakdown with one of those specific competitors and Nick Delta. And I bought his very first shirt when Nick Delta came out with shirts, some merch.
Do you still have it?
I do. And you know what? I should have actually wore that son of a bitch, because I called it the Delta Dynasty. I started the Delta Dynasty.
The funny thing is, he probably popped for that, even though he doesn't wrestle anymore, and he should. But
Which he should.
He's more into the theatrics now.
Mm-hmm.
And more power to him.
Doing a fantastic job. Have you seen any of that stuff?
I have, yeah.
Fantastic.
He is.
I love Nick Delta. I really do. He holds a little place in my heart. I swear to goodness. So with all of that said, and I know I kind of yammered about my introduction to XWA, but I really thought wearing this shirt, because my guy, you were there religiously for all of them, the Thursdays and the big shows. You want to know how I know? Because I was there religiously for almost 1 full year, driving from Bristol to there after work with my dad every Thursday and every big show that they had on the Saturdays. And my goodness, who was there every goddamn show? One Picture Dave. So please, now that I've rambled on, talk to us about XWA and what it meant to you, please.
So going back, I believe it was 2011 is when I actually started with XWA. They had a name after name after name on the show, but one big name I'm going to name drop on this is XWA champion, former WWE. I don't know if he's in the Hall of Fame, but I'll say it. WWE Hall of Famer Vader. Walked into the event center. You saw the champions posters and all that. Well, that Vader poster I took, and seeing that on the wall of all the champions was just something that was like, wow. But from the show that he ended up wrestling, another name drop, Ivar, who's now in WWE, going back, I think that was like 2012. That was another historical moment at XWA. But getting to the throwdowns every Thursday, from my perspective, I never went into the locker room. I was never told to go in the locker room. I was always out there as this, as that. I wanted to be surprised as who was going to show up. I never wanted to know this guy was booked, this guy was booked, this guy was booked. As a fan of shooting the XWA, and they say surprised because you didn't know who was going to show up. Now, toward the end of Throwdowns, you kind of started knowing who was going to show up, who wasn't going to show up. But the early 2016, 2017, 2018, you never knew who was going to show up. At that time, getting a very early Mike Skyros, who that he would came out a lot more, but 4.5, 5 hour trip. He was one of the names that, or one of the people from New York that I would want to see a lot more on throwdowns.
Mm. And I think I actually started in 17 because there is a video that I always share when it pops up, and it's a young Mike Skyros versus a younger Jay Freddy.
Oh, wow.
And there was maybe, if I had to remember and take a guess, and by the crowd, there was maybe, 20 of us, 25 of us at the time. And, looking back from now to, talking about it, I can appreciate seeing that. But at the time, I had no clue who Mike Skyros was. I had no clue who Jay Freddy was. But I was, as a fan, I jumped into the match because they were chopping each other. They were coming out. They were involving us a little bit and stuff. And I remember what Skyros was actually wearing. And I don't want to sound creeper, but he had these trunks, like the shorts on that was like a cheetah-ish, if you will, or something, or I forget. And his hair was way different, and obviously he looked different. But it's just like the evolution of these guys and girls that we see right before our eyes, Dave. It's just, that's why I do it. That's why I don't go to the dub and kind of fawn over the dub and the AEWs and stuff like that. I absolutely love the indies and watching, and I say this over and over, watching an Elijah Six from the ground up and stuff like that, getting his first promo, maybe recording his first match and such. So you look back at some of this stuff, training day one with a test of strength, and we've talked about Christian Casanova being on that specific event. You see these guys just evolve little by little by little, and you kind of don't really tell because you're all in the world. It's almost like watching a child grow up right before your eyes. You're like, yeah, he's big, but he's not that much bigger. You're like, and then Auntie comes over and she's like, no, that kid is sprouted like this big, So it's kind of that analogy, if you will, with wrestlers that do that right before our eyes. And I'm not trying to take away from this XWA conversation, but that's what's happening with the likes of a Skyros and a Jay Freddy and such,
I remember seeing Skyros in 2015. Him and Christian Casanova. It was one of Skyros's first matches. I might be wrong, but it was one of the first ones that I've seen him. It was him and Casanova, 30 minutes. And you know what? The amount of things that they've did in 30 minutes is mind blown.
Casanova was part a regular cycle of XWA. He was in the storylines there, part of NEW being storylines over there. There was Lucky Pro. There was many others that he circulated in, that he was part of their storylines early in his career before he actually evolved into, the chains and the black and gold, really polished look that he had. He was
very early
doing the MJ stuff, when
I
he
do
was
remember
doing
that.
when he was doing that stuff. So that's kind of the evolution that I speak of, and we see it all the time. Students at XWA, you are seeing these kids being molded right in front of your eyes from the ground up, man, at XWA. And that they were coming out on Thursdays, more or less. And then they would kind of be integrated on the bigger shows when time was right. Talk to us a little bit about seeing the young talent being molded out of a school with the tutelage of the Matt Taven, Mike Bennett, Vinny Marsalia, and even one TKO Ryan, which I miss so fucking dearly. If you know where he is, please tell us. So please talk to us about the molding of the students that you saw over there.
So 2 students in particular that they're due because the amount of things that they did for XWA in general, and 2 people that I don't know if you are in good graces with right now. But I have to say, they don't get their props. And you can clip this. Buff Dad and Q
Oh,
Buff
oh,
are two people that have busted their ass, and they do not get the recognition that they deserve. Busted their ass with ring crew, getting this, getting that, getting anything that was needed for the show. Got all the things that they needed to get to help get the show running. They made a lot of things happen on Thursdays or on any of these big shows uh, to help get things going. I wasn't really there for the training, but a lot of they Taven, Bennett, and Vinny and TK all produced a lot of great students. But I will also throw Ryan Drew in there because he did come in every once in a while um, to help train some of these guys, and then they also told them, hey, go to Chaotic, go to Top Rope, go here, go there. Don't just come here. Go to other places, get training in, because you know what? Our way it's one way. Go somewhere else, learn another hold, learn this, because you know what? You learn one from one person, take what you learn from this person and this person, you combine it, it's going to make you one hell of a better wrestler.
and very well said, because that is another topic on here that we always talk about is going from a school to, and it's not like, stay there for a week, check it out, go to it. You know, if you come from a facility and you feel that you would like to try something else, by all means, as a wrestler, to be a solidified, successful wrestler, you need another school and another set of eyes to see how you are in the ring. And maybe they can teach you this or that. And not everybody knows the same stuff. Everybody knows a bunch of different things about wrestling. And like Dave just said, you mold that all together and you take these training things, the knowledge that you've gained from one trainer to another, and you combine it together, successful wrestler that we get to see make a livelihood for their family on TV.
I'll give you an example of someone that is from my neck of the woods. Well, not from my neck of the woods then, but is in my neck of the woods now. Take a two hour drive to Slick School in Connecticut on a random whatever day they have training. He would do that once a week, once or twice a week, just to learn to get back into the ring, and then he'd go here or he'd go here. And you know what? He's also one of the trainers down at one of the schools down this way, and that is one BMT.
Oh, okay, okay. Before we get into BMT, I do, because one brain cell. I just want to swing back to Two Buff, the Buff Dad together. They are Buff Inc.
Correct.
I got to give them props too, Dave, because I've seen from a distance what they have done for XWA. And not only that, I've also seen what they have done for XWA at NEW with the ring setups, with the cage setups, and doing such, and working the door and security like anybody's going to
All the
be
little
afraid
things.
of
All the little things.
But the president of ARRP, who the hell is going to be scared of that guy? But I have seen from a distance with my own eyes as well. So I will jump on that bandwagon with you, because they are students of the XWA. And I even yelled at Buff. I yelled at Buff. I yelled at Buff at Legacy is Timeless at Fired Up, because they opened up the show with a student showcase. Who was one of the last guys to come rolling around in the train of guys coming in to make their entrance? 1-2 Buff, and I yelled right in his face, "You aren't a student." He goes, "I can be whatever I want to be."
True. Still a student. Once a student, always a student.
So I will actually kind of double up. And not only that, I will also piggyback on what you also said. They are underrated and under-deserved. Like they're not. They need to be a little more respected in the community. If you ask me personally, and I know I've got a lot of shit going on with those guys.
I think, you know what? I think you saying that would probably get you a little bit more brownie points with them.
I could. True. Maybe I will clip it just so they do see it. Maybe it will
clip that whole thing together, and then
because they do work their asses off, and I appreciate you actually mentioning them. Out of any fucking wrestlers.
You know the funny thing is, and I'm gonna say this, seeing Buff Dad and Two Buff run to probably about between 13 to 20 throwdowns in a row, where they called it the Buff Down. It's hilarious. At least 20 of them in a row. Hilarious. Where they were pretty much running the show, trying to be the figurehead and this and that. Hilarious. Something different,
I also have a memory that circulates when the Boneyard, there was a sign out on the door that became the Buff Yard. And I love sharing the Buff Yard. Yes, those guys. Creative, endless. Like there is no cap on the Buff's creativity. I'll even say that much more. And that kind of, I wouldn't go that far. Now that leads us into BMT because I will not take. I never even knew, honestly, and they're both going to hate me for this. And I've had both of them on together on STP.
Be careful because they live 5 minutes away from me.
Okay, I'll do this with kid gloves. I'll just start creativity. Talk about endless amounts of creativity from one BMT and powerhouse Ariel herself, Portuguese powerhouse Ariel herself. Combine these two, oh my goodness, the creativity is just as endless as the Buff Inc. faction there. These two are something. Now, I knew nothing, absolutely nothing about either of these two talents because I'll just do a really quick breakdown. They have 6 kids. They have legitimate jobs that are like corporate type shit that you don't want to mess around and play with. These are like true, I've been working at a pizza joint for a while. They don't work at a pizza joint. They have like some corporate shit going on, and they hold a family of 6 while they both hold on to wrestling careers on the weekends all over again. Because again, I knew shit about these two. They're married with 6 kids, and I seen them at Test of Strength for the first time. She gave me the business. He gave me the business. They drew me right in, Dave. Absolutely drew me in as a fan. Their look, their mouth, the in-ring, all of that. And then come to find out, yes, the whole package, absolutely. Then to come to find out, both of them are veterans of the New England scene. And I'm like, the fuck are you talking about? So I got to learn a little bit about both of them. And please, can you kind of piggyback and continue with the BMT and Powerhouse area? Because I didn't know shit about them, and I do only a little bit. But please tell us, the fans, because this couple, if you don't know about them, please get on the keyboard. BMT, capital B, M, and capital T, and please, check these guys out.
BMT and Ariel have been a couple since 2007, and to be honest, I am glad that they are back in professional wrestling. As a husband and wife duo that they are, I think that they could give any running tag team a run for their money. And you know something? At Fight Life, another promotion that I've been at, they have put their money where their mouths are. They have backed up everything that they said. All the trash that they talked, they backed that right up in the ring. They've got everything going that I've seen them have together. BMT versus Ariel goes back to RWA last year and NRG this year. 2 different promotions. They had a pretty much like a dog house match kind of thing, where it's basically just like a street fight. Anything goes. Ariel wins both of them. But Ariel last year show stealing match last year. She looked at me and she was like, "No, that's not going to steal the show." I looked at her. I said, "Ariel, you guys are going to steal the show." Turn around this year. They have the match at the feast 10 minutes down the road. I said, "Ariel, you guys are going to run it back? You going to steal the show again?" She looked at me. Nah. Messaged me a day later. "You steal the show?" I said, "Yes, you did." These two, God, two of my favorite in this area. Some people have also said certain people get better. You need to get out of the area. These two,
Yes.
two that I think that need to get out of this area to get much better.
Yeah. There is no glass ceiling with either of these two. It's insane. When I had them on, it's just like a, how do I even put it? It's just a continual promo. Both of them, back and forth.
It is.
It really is just a continual. I can't even imagine their household. Not only that, you speak of Fight Life with Frankie. God bless him for doing what he's doing, and it really popped off. Holy cow, that it has Fight Life really popped
Oh my
off.
God.
Again, boys and girls, check that out. Literally, Fight Life. Check this place out. They've added a banana.
A banana.
Yes, to Fight Life, which is part of the BMT and Ariel family. So yeah, check this shit out. You guys really gotta. They are something. Both of them put together. Now, kind of want to focus a little bit more on Multimedia Dave here, because
absolutely
we can talk talent, and we will probably get back to talent. We could talk talent for hours and hours at end. Now, I did mention why wrestling. We kind of started there. Talk to us about photography. Getting into it, what would make Dave pick up a camera?
So started going to a show 2005 as a fan. Camera. It was, picture this: cell phones were the whatever. Seven rolled around. Started going to shows. No one was taking pictures, and I said, "You know what? Let me ask. Try to get into this. You know what? Yeah, you can do it. This and that." It was a fight and a struggle, but it's just all be at the right place at the right time. Now it has a camera. Your phone is your camera, pretty much. But if you want to shoot, I suggest. Hold on.
Mm-hmm.
I suggest get a camera like mine, and a Rebel. What I've been using for the past 6 years now. Always been a good thing. It's just be at the right place at the right time. Ask questions. It's a lot. It's and know the product that you're shooting. Know the wrestlers. Know what's going on.
Now it's much easier to make contacts and approach promoters and wrestlers way easier now than it ever was back, years and years ago, because it was faux pas for anybody, like a guy like Tom Burke, a guy like Jim Cornette, if you will. These guys were ahead of their fucking time back then. So it's much easier to approach the promoters and such and get in contact with the social medias. Not that all the promoters want everybody beating their doors down. Hey, how about this? Hey, how about that?
Yep.
Now, getting to work different venues, being a VFW. Now, you go to a Knights of Columbus, it's very similar. You go to a banquet hall, it's very similar. You go to some of these bars, that's a little different vibe because of the clientele, because not everybody's there to see wrestling. People are there to get fucked up, and then the wrestling is the bonus part of it. Maybe some of those people are there for the wrestling. But
Maybe
there's
they're the
many.
wrestlers getting fucked up.
But
Seen
there's
it.
different.
I was part of it.
There's different ambiances to each venue, if you will. I want to talk about getting to know, and I know the ring is the same no matter where you go. I do really want to talk about anyone who's looking or does at this point, and they're starting out or something, and they're unsure of positioning and such. Me and you have talked about this before. Talk to us about positioning, where at the ring is best, where at the ring is safest for yourself and the people involved, those athletes involved doing their performing. So talk to us about that as a videographer and a photographer.
So, as a videographer, as a photographer, I'm usually right there getting the entrance shot, like pretty much right when they come out. But during the live action, I'm either in the corner side that the hard cam is on, the tag rope. Um, if it's a low ring, I'm kneeling only because I don't want to be in somebody else's way. I want
Okay, now pause right there.
to
I hate to interrupt. Just pause for a second. Hard cam. You're talking about a stationary camera that's on one side of the venue. They call that the hard cam. So when they come in and do their entrance in the ring, they look at that camera to present their self, their brand, their gear, and such. That would be the hard cam. I just want to make sure that we're all together here.
Yep. So I want to be shooting hard cam. You basically want to just be if I'm the focal point, you want to be on either side, so you're not being seen. Where my thumbs are, that's where you want to be. Corner. I'm usually tag rope, tag corner. That's supposed to have the little tag rope that most promotions don't have. I'm holding a fake tag rope.
I love to yell at the guys, hey, how come you're not grabbing the tag rope? And they look down like there is a tag rope and they go to grab it. Oh, I love that shit. Please go on.
Or I'm on in the other corner to the other side, on corner. Learned when I did Ring of Honor from Bobby Cruz, the hard cam. After getting the entrance shot right in front of the hard cam, you can go in front of the hard cam to get your entrance shot right there. But after that, you have to work the whole U to go back around to the other side. You just can't walk right in front of the hard cam itself. Believe me, there's a lot of rules. A lot of rules.
TV is much different than just an indie show at a VFW.
I play when I shoot ringside, either the video or pictures. I'm playing it like it's on TV, so I know. All right, I have to be like, where's the hard cam? Hard cam. All right, I have free reign to go anywhere I want. But if there's a hard cam, I have to play it like this is the boundary I cannot cross.
You were talking about corners. Talk to us about the importance of corners. And hey, there's a lot of free space in the middle, and I can get probably some cool shots. Why are you not just standing in the middle like some? And this is a topic that I wanted to bring up. May it be an IWTV, and I know they've got to get their shots and stuff. There was a GoPro that was pretty hot around here for a while. I don't know if they're still doing their thing or whatever, but there's been camera crews that do come in and they stand directly in the middle for very lengths of time. And talk to us about the importance of why not and why it's unfair to the others behind them.
So, yeah, from the shows, when I was the person that was always there, the boys would use me as their cam, but I would be doing pictures. The roaming cam is basically the person that you pretty much just follow when you come out. But to sit in the middle of where the ropes are to get your shot, yeah, it's okay, but you're still getting the same same shot. You're not moving. You're not doing this. You're not doing that. Certain promotions will allow it. A fan of shooting in the middle. Now, if you were to watch AEW, WWE, Impact, any one of these TV shows, Don, do you ever see a person filming, like you said, from uh, the corner?
And that's what pisses me off. It's always from the corner on TV. They make it so that the camera guys aren't seen on a regular basis, and they make it a tighter shot. So you're getting the ring and the performance that's happening. You're not getting the outside busybodies that are doing their thing. And I know they all have jobs to do, but that is the importance, because on TV, you don't see these guys just standing in the
Correct.
middle, dead center for any length of time. A lot of these guys in our area will just stand there.
Yep. So that's something that I learned in NCW when I'm working Proving Ground or NRG. They've also said, if you want, is the big one, because they want me mobile around. They want me getting this shot. Let the hard cam get the main shot that you need. NRG wants me to pretty much walk around the ring. I'm totally fine with that. I'll be over here getting this shot, and then I'm gonna dump over here, get this shot, boom, boom, boom. I'm gonna try to be mobile all night long. I'm gonna try to get my money shots, get this shot, get that shot, get all the shots that I need. Because you know what? Sometimes if you're in that one mobile position all night long, you're just gonna end up falling asleep. And I have noticed that at one show. I don't have an earbud in playing music. I will have no enthusiasm to shoot. That's why most of the time, if you see I have an earbud in, it's because I need something to give me the motivation. But lately with the amount of good talent that's on the shows, I don't need it.
That is that is a major difference.
Because somebody asked me, hey, how come they asked me, how come you have that in there? I said, hey, it's been a long day, this and that. I need a little bit of motivation. Why don't you just take something? I said, no, I need motivation in my ear. I need that good music to get me going, or I need something in my ear to just kind of pop me, to wake me up. And you know what? First half ran great, and you know what? I took it out and it was perfectly fine the second half.
So promoters, if you're seeing this on Multimedia Dave, a little earbud, step up your game. Now, I know I don't have much time left with you, because I could really, I mean, we could just chit chat, but I don't know how long this STP thing will ride along here, but I would love to have a return of one Multimedia Dave, because there is a lot that I would love to talk to you about. One of the topics that I did have on my mind, I've done it a couple times. I see the talent do it maybe multiple times in their career for personal reasons, family reasons, whatever, job reasons. Talk to us, because I've seen you do it personally. And we do tend to spew a little bit of our own, hey, you sons of bitches out there, and I do this and I do that. Could you just give me a fucking minute? Talk to us about taking a break from wrestling, because I thought you legitimately disappeared at one point, and then all of a sudden you kind of reappeared, and I was like, holy shit, he's back. I really thought this guy was gone. So talk to us about, you don't have to talk to us about why if you don't want to, but talk to us about what it does, the break itself, why you need that break. Because I was a fan and I needed it for one specific reason. I was burnt the fuck out. I was doing like 15, 16 shows a month. And that's more than the goddamn talent are doing out there, getting their bookings. I'm putting a lot of miles on. I'm doing a lot of footage. I'm talking to a lot of the guys. They want all of this. They're kind of, hey, this and that.
Hey, I need myself tomorrow.
Yeah, I might feel some of your pain on where this may go, but talk to us about why, if you could, and the importance of taking that break and what it means to yourself. And then why come back and the importance of that. And then maybe we can close out.
So So, what a lot of people do not know, 2018 was supposed to be the end of Picture Dave. Cold Fury 2018 was supposed to be it, game over, sayonara, bye-bye. I was burnt out. I was going to go away for probably a year or not. And then all of a sudden I get a fire in me that I wanted to just keep going and going and going. April of 2018, I ended up getting burnt out to the point where I took 3 weeks off of shows. And you know what? It was also accumulation of working almost 50, 60 hours a week, not sleeping that much, hanging out with my best friend, just constantly being busy. Life, man, have something going on in my life. If it's not wrestling, I always have this. Took a recent 2-week break down in North Carolina to go see one of my best friends. Hi, Melissa. She let me stay at her house for 2 weeks. Just turning the phone off for 2 weeks about wrestling, not caring about it. It's important sometimes, but you know what? Sometimes it's important just to get back to business. And the 2 weeks away, it was planned, but it wasn't planned. But this is also Don, my third trip to North Carolina this year, and there's going to be another one coming during Christmas time. I already know that.
Oh,
so it's time off is a good thing, but I know that my spot is not going anywhere.
Coming back, when you do come back, it's like, why did I leave? But then you remember, okay, I left because of this, and it helped myself. So when I didn't expect to come back because I figured, hey man, I'm just gonna call it a day. I've been there, I swear, a couple times. But when you do come back, it's like, you know what, man, I really do love this shit. A little bit more than I thought. When you walk away, you're like, I can live without this shit. But then when you're without it for a few minutes, and then you actually do come back, you're like, I love this shit. It's crazy.
So if you were to go back and you were to look at my schedule from that 2018, which next time I see you in person, I'm going to physically bring up shows that I was on month by month by month, and you're just going to be like, what is wrong with you? And this is also holding a 40 to 45 job every week. Next time I see you, Don, I'm going to show you my schedule from 2018, and you're just going to wow yourself, and you're going to be like, what is wrong with you? Because
now
it's a lot.
Well, I know it's a lot, and maybe this could entice someone to do so much. I'm going to ask you a personal question.
All right.
Is there anything for Multimedia Dave coming in? And I'm not talking about right this minute, recently. I'm talking about through this time. And you've been in this for 17 years. You just kind of celebrated a WrestleVersary here.
Yes, I did.
What was there money within your trips, within these said promotions, even if it's a 20 spot for gas or anything like that on the upcoming? And if not, or if so, what about nowadays? Because you've changed your name from Picture Dave to Multimedia Dave for a specific reason. Are you making anything in the upcoming? And, does it help you to want to come back?
So the reason for the name change is obviously now I'm doing pictures and I'm doing video. But now I have to take it more as a business. In professional wrestling, do you see more of? Do you see more pictures or do you see more video? In my eyes, I see more video. So being approached with it last year, being the three promotions that I worked, NRG, NCW, and Proving Ground, were the three that were like, we really want you to do a video. It's not. We can give you a little bit for this and a little bit for that. I said, that's fine. I said, but I got to use my own stuff. It's this, whatever. Um, Pictures. A lot of it was that my schedule. Most of the 1,100 shows that I did, probably say maybe 100 to 125 of them were paid. Um, yes, that is a lot of shows I've done. Out of the 40, them have been paid. Um, Now a lot better, and I'm being a lot more selective in what I'm doing between pictures and video, because you know what? It's a business now. It
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 is.
it, it truly is a business,
Mhm.
and it's a lot harder to say, well, promotion A is running down the street. I can go work them for price, or I can go work promotion B that's going to use the same talent, and I'm going to get X X. And I'm like, well, what do I want to do? Do I want to
Right.
work, or do I want to stay home? Half the
Mhm.
time, I'm gonna go work.
So it seems, excuse me, it seems it's more for the love of the game
For the
than
most
it
part, yeah.
would be, for a payday, if you will,
Correct.
when you go
Correct.
to these shows. But with that being said, this is a new day. This is a new era. This is multimedia Dave. This isn't picture Dave. This is a different era. So respect your multimedia Dave. Appreciate your multimedia Dave. Talk some numbers with my man, Multimedia Dave. If you're looking for some quality work done at your promotion, you've got a guy right here who's willing to work. He just said it. Do I want to stay home? Do I want to work? My guy wants to work. So give him a little ringy dingy over here. Multimedia Dave, I can talk to you for 13 hours straight. I would have to roll a little something if we're going to do that. But I know you don't want to talk to me for 13 hours straight. That is a
No.
definite. So he's like, nah. Uh, we got to pull a little bit of something. Before I do kind of wind this down, do you do stuff like this at all? Interviews and maybe chit chat and kind of get yourself out there at all? Is this
to be
something that you
honest,
do?
to be honest, done one or two, but it was like a long time ago.
Oh, okay.
I wanted to do a podcast with Frankie when we were doing XWA, but our schedules never lined up. But
Hey,
it's something I don't mind doing. I have made a couple appearances at the NRG school here and there, but
that's
hey,
cool.
I'm willing to go out there, talk and do my thing. But
Awesome.
little things.
Well, without guys like
One thing. I hold on. One
no,
thing I do
please,
want to drop. One
please.
thing I do want to drop. I will be making a debut this Saturday night or Saturday afternoon, filming for Rad Pro Wrestling out of Amesbury, Massachusetts. A
Oh,
debut.
okay. Rad Pro. I've seen the Rad Pro circulating for sure.
Yep.
Without guys like Multimedia Dave, we wouldn't have. I'll just go out and say it. Memories from these shows, and I know there's still photos, and I know there's video involved. But I've gotten that be like, Kincaid, without you going to all of these shows, like most of my career wouldn't even be on film at all. And I appreciate you doing your thing. So,
There
boys
are
and
three
girls,
people. Sorry to cut you off. There are three
no,
people that I enjoy working with, and I did wish that all three I could be on one more show with all three of them. One of them, Christine Coons,
ooh,
you're getting better. TC Tapes, I wish you were around a lot more. And Shooter, or I wish you were a lot more.
wow.
Those
Imagine
three,
that.
we have worked one show together, and that was an XWA show.
I,
I
I'm
would love to shoot with you three again.
I'm only familiar with Miss Coons because I have seen her stuff on the old face page, but I'm not familiar
Yes,
with the other two. I'm a face page guy. I'm really not
gotcha.
a Twitter guy. Please,
Oh,
Elon.
they're both on Facebook.
Oh, okay. Show me some links because I wanna find new photogs and shit. Come on now,
I got you, brother.
please do. And Elon Musk, please
Actually,
don't tax me for the Twitter thing. Go ahead, sir.
you actually know her. She used to film a lot of stuff for Beyond in when they were in Providence, and she did like a lot of indie in Connecticut and around the area. And
Oh,
Shooter, who also is from my neck of the woods, who has done a lot for New England professional wrestling out in my neck of the woods as well. So
mm,
they both are video. Obviously, Siege does the pictures, but like I said, I want to shoot with them many times, many times, many times again.
well, maybe we'll have to clip this too. We'll try to make it happen. We'll
Oh,
push for
absolutely.
one multimedia Dave's bucket list here. Oh, I know there was one specific topic, and I know, and I'm adding on here. We see some of these guys and girls as we were talking about the evolution of, and I'm going to use Carmelo Hayes, the evolution of. Okay,
Yep.
and we were speaking much of him, but the return of two guys that used to be around that did get the old call up, but did get the kind of release from the big dub would be two guys that you're very familiar with, and I know you've shot a ton of times, would be one AG, Anthony Green, and
Yes.
one Donovan Dijak, who has recently just returned to the indie scene. What are your thoughts on these guys coming back? Because they're going to the Limitlesses, they're going to the Chaotics, their homes, their head training, if you will, over at the New England Pro Academy. I mean, I'm seeing these things before my, I'm getting a little goosies. I'm seeing these things before my eyes on the old face page. A guy like you who's been around for way more than I have, you must really enjoy kind of seeing these talents maybe revert back to the indies and at this point in their career, but really have some steam behind them and a really better look, a better knowledge of wrestling, if you will, psychology and stuff. So, just real quick, what are your thoughts on these two guys coming back on the indie scene?
So I didn't expect you to say these two, but you know what? I'm kind of glad you did. Um, these two, AG was gone before he even got a chance with WWE. And to be honest, the work that he's been doing in Japan, amazing. It's great to have AG back here, and I can't wait to be on more shows with AG. Dijak has just got the world that is in the palm of his hands now that he's back on the indie scene. And you know what? I see the future for these two just being super bright. Every weekend, seminars, shows. I see them just killing it everywhere they go.
I said two that you were surprised. Why don't you give us two that you thought I was going to throw at you?
I don't know because I don't know if there's anybody.
Okay. I just didn't know if you had anybody on your mind or anything at the time.
There's a lot of people on the mind, but that have gotten the release that are just kind of been like, why would you release them? And then this person's still here. But I'll keep that for another day.
That is dude, that's like a 10-hour conversation right there.
It is. It
is. So please give us your handles on the Twitters, the face pages, the Pornhubs, whatever you've got going on. Hit us. Hit us with the handles so the promoters that are looking for somebody with quality work can reach out to one Multimedia Dave.
I am on Facebook. You can find me, Dave Rodericks, on the Facebook. You can also find me on the Instagram. It is Multimedia _Dave on the Instagram. I don't really use Twitter. Find me on Facebook and Instagram, and give me a shout or give me a message.
All right. That wasn't only for promoters looking to hire a quality.
That was for the boys, the girls, anything.
Anybody, fans as well. Go to these pages, check out some of his stuff because we always talk about you never seen this guy or girl before. Now you do. Give it a look, see, go through his stuff. He always marks the matches and such. You also share all of your stuff on which website? Do you still share the full matches and stuff like you used to?
On Smug Mug, yes.
Okay.
Yes, I do. Yep.
Smug Mug.
I actually have picturedavephotography.smugmug.com. That's where pretty much like all the shows that I've shot. There's some promos that are slowly starting, promo shots starting to get there. But that's only for promoters' purposes. But there's a lot of hidden gems that's on that. Like I said, 1,100 shows and still going. You know, there's a lot.
Holy shit.
Yeah, 1,100 shows.
Multimedia Dave, you have blessed us with your time. You've been open. You gave some knowledge to anybody inspiring to get into the biz, as they say. We appreciate all your knowledge and the shout outs to the talents that we were talking about and seeing hitting a bigger platform, because that's what we want on the indie scene. We want these guys and girls to rise to these platforms. So I cannot thank you for spending the time and setting some time aside of your schedule to sit with us and talk to us, the fans. I absolutely appreciate you so much, my friend. Thank you.
No problem. Hey, by the way,
yeah.
Next time we do this, let's do this in person.
Oh, I would love to do.
It would have been this Friday. At TOS, but I have a big promotional gimmick that I have going on. That I get a film for one of the major shows that I'm doing that you'll be seeing next week. You'll be seeing all the video that I filmed Friday night.
We got a little snippet from Multimedia Dave. Be on the lookout for that.
I'm not going to tell you who it is, but you know what? The stuff that I have planned, filming wise,
that's why
product.
That's why I'm a wrestling fan. I love to be surprised. I don't want to read the dirt sheets. I don't want Picture Dave to tell us what he's up to. I love surprises in wrestling. That's what makes us fans do the old pop, if you will. I mean, come on. Stop with the dirt sheet bullshit. I don't want to know nothing. Please stop. This has been Stirring the Pot with Don Kincaid and our very special guest. You know what? I'm going to double up on that. Our very, very special guest, one Multimedia Dave. Thank you once again, my friend.
Thank you, Don Kincaid. Thank you. Have a good night.